Very good evening, folks. I'm Clive Williams. This is Conversations with Clive Williams. I'm Clive. And I have in the studio here this evening a reunion. A reunion that I'm very quickly beginning to regret. I
Ouch.
brought, I brought, I brought together. Let me first of all select the very distinguished Irwin Clare, who I will address first because the rest of the people, Professor Gail Lewis, okay, but there are two young men that you're going to be talking to, seeing on the show this evening. And both of them have the ignoble names of Chris. For this for,
Ouch.
for this for this conversation, for the purpose of this conversation, their names are ignoble. But I'll explain that to you a little bit later. To my right
Okay.
Is that an
is my
SAT word?
is my friend is my friend Dubmaster Chris.
How you doing, sir?
How are you, my friend?
I'm very well, sir.
You
Very
know,
well.
we're,
Very
we're,
well.
we're going to be having a little fight a little later. You know that. So be prepared for that.
Well, I'm prepared for anything, but at the same time, I have a bone to pick at the very top of the program, sir. But I'll save my
You
comments.
save your comment for
Yes.
okay. And the noise you hear in the background is my son Christopher. And whenever I say Christopher,
Noise.
he knows that I'm not happy. Hi, Chris. How are you?
Oh, I'm shaking in my boots. Good thing I don't wear boots.
So, folks, this evening we're gathered together here to just talk as colleagues and friends. First of all, let me start with you, Dubby, as the ladies affectionately call you. I must tell you that between yourself and DJ Roy and Irwin Clare, you're on the same platform.
Yes.
You guys represent the sort of quintessential cadre of radio people. Quintessential because you come across very professionally, you give us great radio, you give us great music, you give us great vibes, and you make sense. You are commentators on what's happening. You guys have your pulse, your hands on fingers on the pulse of the people, and that's one of the reasons I invited you in. Irwin, who does a talk show, has a number of people that he connects with in Jamaica and here, and he's able to connect the dots for us. So Professor Gail Lewis is going to help me analyze some of the stuff that's coming from you guys. And my son Chris, I invited him along for the ride because we've been riding together now for a long time on radio and now on television. What does it feel like to be on television, son?
I don't know. I don't know what to say. This is a dream come true. I'm so excited. No, I'm kidding. No.
No,
Seriously. I mean,
if you went to Calabar, you would have been able to
Ooh,
answer that
ouch,
more
ouch.
eloquently. But go ahead.
Ouch.
Go ahead.
Shots fired.
Chris, what the difference between a Calabar person and a KC person?
Yes.
We know to ignore remarks like that, right? 'Cause
Exactly.
we have more class.
Exactly.
What? No. Seriously, it's a lot of fun, and I'm glad I'm sorry I couldn't have been there
Yeah,
in person
in
because
person.
I'm sure being in the studio would have been fantastic. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm happy to be here.
It's great. It's great to have you on board, man. So
thank you.
really quickly want to get into the conversation. Professor Lewis, you jump in whenever you want to. But guys, we're all gathered here together, as I started to say, to talk about some of the concerns that we have. Let me start with the pandemic and how we're handling it here in the United States and how it's being handled in Jamaica, how it's being handled in the Caribbean, but in particular Jamaica, because as of last, accurate information that I got, just about 10% of Jamaicans have been vaccinated. And of course, the concern of vaccines will come up. So who wants to start? I mean, where are we? And let me preface my concerns with the fact that you guys at 93.5 WNWK to be specific, Irie Jam Radio
Okay.
made an all-out effort to make us feel encouraged, to make us feel that there is somebody out there who is trying to encourage us and help us get through. What is your concerns about the responses of Jamaica to the vaccine, the responses of the United States to the vaccine?
Wow. Well, first of all, thank you very much for your opening remarks, sir. And as a Kingston College alum, I'm not going to take any offense at this point, at this particular juncture. Chris, we shall, have to address some issues a little bit later on and say,
Oh yeah.
Fort is forever. However, we definitely have some concerns. As Jamaicans living here in the diaspora, we definitely, we connect with Jamaica. I have a habit of, I speak to either friends and family in Jamaica almost every day. So, we try to stay as close as possible. And what it is, I think, as on-air personalities, first and foremost, people have to remember that we're members of the community and we have the same concerns just like everybody else. So the same, fears and things that we are worried about or we feel challenged about, we're all going through the same thing. What's going on in Jamaica with the COVID-19? I mean, I have too many concerns. However, I think Jamaica, under the circumstances, because yes, they are in a very tough situation, a very unique situation. And I've heard a lot of Jamaicans, both in Jamaica and abroad, bashing our prime minister. And the one thing I've always said, there is no handbook. This is unprecedented. We've never seen a situation like this. Any of us we have no basis to say, okay, this is what can work or will work to rectify the situation. And I think it just happens to be Prime Minister has inherited a bad situation, a tough situation, and he's just trying to make the most of it. Now,
Chrissy, I'm sorry. They are bashing his response, his lack of response.
It goes both ways.
Everything.
Some people say he's responded in too strict of a manner. Some people are saying, he could have done a better job and be more strict and more direct. So on both sides, he's getting it from both sides. Yeah. So it's just unfortunate that some people, they have their opinions, and a lot of times it doesn't help to be so against, the status quo and be against what the government is trying to do. However, I think that if we communicate a little bit more and we try to, see each other's points of view, I think we'll find a little better understanding.
What part has radio been playing in assuaging the concerns of folks? And we're talking now Jamaican radio, Irwin, with which you're very familiar. Because you're a celebrity when you go down there. What are people talking about?
He's a celebrity here too.
Here too, exactly.
Absolutely.
Let's stick with the program at hand. But just to add something to what Chris just said. But that's what leaders. That's why they're leaders. Right. To be criticized. Right.
Yeah.
And in all fairness, the Prime Minister has done some good things, but he has done some things that requires that makes you say,
questionable.
Yeah. Because one of the things that we have not yet, even as we speak, there are people still in Jamaica who believe that we don't have all hands on deck. We have not put together the best team possible, because there's still those who believe that somehow there's a partisan parlance. Cabinet cannot go into Jamaica House and sit by themselves and decide how to run this thing. Where are the experts? Where is the czar? Jamaica doesn't have a czar. The czar cannot be the prime minister or the minister of health, because they're seeing things through two different prisms here. They have to manage things through different prisms. He says this all the time, and I understand. Balancing lives with livelihoods. That's how politicians speak. So therefore, we have a pandemic. We need to have the experts out there. What are you going to call them? The Dr. Faucis of the world or whomever. But we have not yet put that in place. So what we find now is we find persons articulating to us about this pandemic. Politicians. Really? The last time we checked the Richter scale, they are the lowest totem end as relates to convince
they have
anybody
no credibility
to
at all.
credibility. So that in itself, and I can understand the politics here, because it's a lot of microphone time and TV time, but. Yes, they've done some good things under the circumstances, but we have left too many low-hanging fruits.
To use a very popular Jamaican parlance, stick a pin. Is it much different from what's happening in the United States?
Probably not.
I don't think
With
so.
the exception, though, that there are more resources here.
Yeah,
Right?
well, obviously.
A lot more resources here. But the question you punched him about the role of media. Media has done, I would want to say, played a critical role. All right? But understand even to their limitation, because with the whole competitive sphere, we seem to become more enlightened and enthused with headlines. So nobody really stopped to read, look into the fine prints, So we hear about lockdowns. Oh God, what does that mean? We hear about no movement days. What does that mean? But guess what now? No movement days. Who are the people really moving in no movement days? The very people who are telling you not to move, and they get caught in the web. And when you find, and Jamaica suffers from an inequitable situation when it comes down to how justice is meted out. Okay, the Prime Minister is criticized, right? And some guy goes on this public sphere and curse all kind of
Ranting,
plots
yes.
and all that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
And immediately, that person is found and swift justice, right?
Absolutely.
But here comes some of the folks who have the authority to administer the rules and regulation. It gets marred in bureaucracy. Can't find the tape. We gotta figure out whether the video is authentic or the hotel rewrote the video. So when Jamaicans know whom we expect to follow the rules and regs, see all of that happening, or they hear about the parties taking place uptown. Hey, the man downtown too. I say, but wait. Partying uptown, I need to party downtown. So these are some of the challenges that we went through. But in general essence, there are people with good intention. It is about balancing lives with livelihoods. And it's going to come a point, and the Prime Minister has hinted it, that he's going to say, it'll come a point where government is going to say, we're providing all the situational platform, and if you choose to go that route, then you have to now recognize that we can't keep 500 COVID beds for you, but there's still other elective surgeries and other persons with mitigating factors that needs medical help. And that's the challenge that he's going to be facing soon.
I want to really utilize your information, your knowledge on Jamaica, Irwin. Is the government making any strides in impressing on our citizens the seriousness of the pandemic with respect to our development, how it affects them down the road? Do you get a sense that there's a messaging that's going out?
The messaging is there's too much filtering, right? Because see, it depends on the messenger and the influencer, and if you're going to be truthful, then you can't be political.
Absolutely.
It's the truth. It's the truth. Because see, you have to weight factor what you're saying to assure that you win the next election, or you have to weight factor what you're saying so you don't get a lot of criticism, or you have to weight factor what you're saying and say, but what about that corruption? Okay, the guy telling me to form a line and stay in the line. He's the guy who would break the line.
Yeah.
He's the guy. You with me?
Absolutely.
So the messenger is a challenge. When recently the Prime Minister says, and there was, I don't know if he says it, but it was just some contemplation about using somebody who is incarcerated to become an influencer. Hey, that may sound like a populist decision, but think about what you're really saying. Think about what you're saying, because he serves a purpose, don't get me wrong. But you also have to understand what is the other side to the story. Have you now exhausted all your influencers to now resort
to
that?
the extent
Yes.
that you now have to.
There you go. So it's the messaging. The messaging gets corrupted and filtered by those who are delivering it. I don't think we have the best hands on. We have encouraged all the best hands to be on deck.
Yeah.
That's my challenge,
Yeah.
and I think they're trying their best, but we have to stop looking at things through orange and green, because right through the pandemic, it's obvious.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's pretty much the same here. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
everybody's
exactly.
playing politics
Politics with the whole situation.
instead of just trying to deal with the situation the best way possible. So yeah, I agree with that. But my question now, to add to your question, Mr. Irwin Clare, sir. Don't forget the OD.
Yeah, he says it all the time, you know.
I will
I appreciate
never allow myself to forget.
You heard that,
the
Chris?
OD.
Chris, the other guy on the
And
other
if
side. Y'all Castle.
Chris, you hear that, Chris?
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
y'all
OD,
Castle.
OD.
Yeah.
And it's not overdrawn or old dog.
Overdrawn.
Old dog.
Why
It's
did
not
you
old dog?
career me?
Okay, Chris.
Old dog like me. Yes.
No, there are two Chris's on the show, and by the way, I've often been approached and asked, "How's your son, Dobby?" and
Yes.
and I say he grew a little bit taller than I. but Christopher Williams, I know you want to jump in and say something based on the comments here.
Well, no. I mean, I was listening to everything being said, and you know, I have to agree wholeheartedly with Irwin. I honestly don't. You know, I've been following what's been going on, but I'm not as well versed as Irwin is, and as you may be, Dad, on some of the things happening in Jamaica. I do know, though, that it is a problem. That part of not having the right person, you know, a czar, as Irwin put it, to really be the person that takes charge and gives people the proper information as far as helping them to understand the dangers and helping them to see that, you know, without any sort of political influence or without that individual having sort of political axe, you know, to grind, how critical it is for us to get out of this situation, because, you know, Jamaica keeps being put on this list, you know, CDC list, and you know, for what is it? You know, one of the places they keep getting put in a category 4 as a place not, you know, for people not to go to, not to visit, not to travel,
Unsafe, yeah.
unsafe because of COVID. And so, what does that mean for tourism? You know, what does that mean for all the other things that we benefit from when people come to the island and spend their money? So you know, as an island that is not huge, right? I mean, yes, we're not a tiny island, but at the same time, we're an island. And so if we want to get that revenue going, and we want to make sure that the businesses can survive, small businesses can survive, as which is also a problem here, then we need to do what's necessary. Now, there's another side to that, because you know, one of the things I've seen here in the U.S. and how it's impacted small business in a negative way is this mandate, right, for people to be vaccinated and have to show proof of that vaccination to enter a business. Now, one can argue that it's a great thing to do, but it has a negative impact on a number of small businesses, because you have pockets in communities that refuse to get vaccinated because of whatever their reason. And these are the same people that are often supporting these small businesses. So it's like, on one hand, they want to participate and promote this need for the vaccine, but on the other hand, they're hurting themselves.
And
And
Chrissy,
the fines, forget about it. You know, it's that.
Chrissy,
that's
also,
yeah.
what small business wants to be the vaccine police? What small
Exactly.
business owner wants to turn
Exactly.
people away at the door? Have you heard of
Exactly.
one? No one wants that
No,
job.
no one wants to do that. It's not fair. No, and I'll just make one more point. The UK explored this this whole situation of issuing this mandate and making people show vaccinations to get into business, and they scrapped it. They did all the studies to show that it's something that would not work, and it would create, you know, sort of an imbalance with businesses and people not being supportive, and they scrapped the idea. So I'm saying that, you know, there are a number of misses that, you know, a lot of we share similarities between Jamaica and the U.S. There are a number of misses, and you know, I think that a lot of it is because it's become too political. It's not, you know, the COVID is, you know, COVID might as well run for office. You know, that's just how it is right now.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I tell you, that's one of the reasons. You know, I sent you I recommended very strongly, and I finally made the decision that you went to Kingston
College.
because I thought
Very good choice.
because I thought because I thought you had something to contribute. The college really needed somebody with brains. You know, so now.
In other words, he was homegrown and he was sent there.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So but we. I am.
Father God, please help me. Give me strength, Father God.
Dubby's soaking up all this and waiting to come back at me. But listen, we got a couple more minutes to go for this segment. We're going to come right back, folks. A very good evening to you, folks. If you're joining us just now, or you've been sitting and watching, viewing for a little while, this is what we do on a Saturday evening between 6 and 7. Conversations with Clive Williams. We come live to you. We're going to be doing this monthly going forward for the next couple of months over the holidays, because we know it's the holidays. Everybody wants a break, so it won't be weekly as usual. It will be monthly. So we come back to you with more information on that. You can follow us on Instagram at Our World Media and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Our World, the number one, Our World One. We're going to break. When we come back, we're coming back to talk to Mr. Irwin Clare, OD. And that doesn't mean overdrawn.
Old dog.
We have Dubmaster Chris Mack, and of course the great Gail Lewis Professor at the CUNY University, and Christopher Williams, my offspring, my son.
Fortis.
We'll be right back.
Fortis.
The war is on. The war is on.
Let's come back. Let's come back after the break and go to war.
You get off the plane and you're like, wow, I'm alive.
You have to breathe because it's breathtaking.
Is the center of the world.
Brooklyn, Manhattan, Staten Island, Queens.
They have the Rockaways, the beach, the Flushing Meadow Park.
Small places that you never think exist.
From there, we'll go up to the Bronx.
Nature. Brooklyn. Got Coney Island. You get to happen upon things.
Yes.
Manhattan never gets outclassed.
Chelsea, Soho. Hay cosas ya de lujo. Es un área bien fancy, ¿me entiendes?
Go to the Empire State Building. Go to the top of Rockefeller Center.
Staten Island.
Staten Island, there's something for everybody.
New York City's an awesome place to come with family.
You got things for kids, you got things for adults.
Even like museums have amazing story times.
That's the beauty of this organic city. It creates new flavors of what once was coming from another country.
All of it. Everyone's welcome. The biggest rainbow in the world.
Ελάτε στη Νέα Υόρκη.
You know, a lot of people say when you're going somewhere, you don't want to look back. But I beg to differ. For her to see her father celebrate his graduation, it's the best feeling in the world. I can't lie and say it was easy. But sometimes you just have to stop everything and take it in. I looked at everything in a different light. And I realized it started with me going back and getting my high school diploma.
New York State's largest African American Chamber of Commerce, known as LIAACC, is now accepting new membership candidates. LIAACC has appeared on WABC, Here and Now, NBC's Positively Black, WLIW21, FIOS1, and in Long Island Business News. Membership consists of a variety of men and women of distinction who have been bestowed some of the most prestigious awards in the region. We host monthly membership meetings and signature events, including the Long Island African American Business Expo, Annual Health Fair, Ladies of LIAACC Annual Women's History Month program, and our annual Black History Month art exhibition. Join by simply logging on to our easy new membership sign-up portal at www.liaacc.org.
Hi, my name is Maya Delgado, and I am the brand ambassador of Kids Breakdown. And this is my demo video. Enjoy!
Download app on Google Play or App Store.
Create account. Choose avatar.
Enter Kids Breakdown Roadmap.
Roadmap consists of math, spelling, memorization, and matching mini games.
After each minigame, personality and interest questions will appear to pinpoint which job may suit you best. After completion of all 8 minigames, you will be presented with jobs you may want to learn more about.
Read fun facts about all the different types of jobs within the law, science, and arts career.
Use your gold bricks to make your job environment fully complete.
Go back and play mini games to earn more bricks if needed. I hope you enjoyed the Kids Breakdown demo video. Make sure to download today and share with your friends. This platform will pave the way for kids who are just like me, the groundbreakers of tomorrow.
Live, guys.
Yeah. we're back with you. And let me tell you something. It's one of the most pleasant evenings I've had for a long time. It's going to be a fight, but it's going to be it's going to be pleasant. Facebook Live, a very good evening to you. We're on Roku Live. We will be heard on Spotify, iTunes, Apple, and so forth. As the podcast, you'll just get sound, but you are benefiting from watching us and seeing us in the studio this evening. My friend Chris, Dubmaster Chris, your dad and I are old friends.
Yes.
And because of that, we have a saying back home when I was young, you shouldn't spare the rod and spoil the child.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I have to spare the rod because you're no longer a child.
Okay.
So you have the benefit of that.
Okay.
But what I can't do with a rod, I will do with words.
Okay.
I am glad, very happy for you that you went to college. You went to Kingston College.
Yeah.
And because some of the most incredible human beings that I know, who were my friends, went to the college.
Yes.
I have great respect for the college.
Good, very good.
And so that's why you're sitting next to me.
Oh, thank you.
So what I just did is called a foil.
Yes.
What I did was just prevent you from attacking me any further on this show.
So you think.
We'll remain friends. But seriously, Irwin, during the break.
Yes, during the break.
Irwin said something very profound, right?
Yes.
Now, those of you who are, let's talk a little legality for a moment. As you know, the United States has their four, sets of government.
Branches of government.
Branches of government. In Jamaica, there's a branch of government that oversees the legal system, how we are viewed, tried, and so forth. And the Privy Council in England is one of these bodies that oversees justice. And Irwin just shared with us a bit of information that, please elaborate.
Well, as you know, we practice the Westminster style of government in Jamaica, something we inherited from our colonial masters who still have influence on us to this day.
Yes.
And so the Queen sits as the head of our state.
Right.
You know.
Still.
Yeah.
No, hold on.
Yeah.
The
Queen is the head of our state.
I apologize. But Irwin, that statement alone opens up a
Yeah,
whole another conversation.
Yes.
Which can we get back to it? Because you know, Jamaicans like to talk about, we're 50-odd years of independence and independence.
Yeah. She's still the head of state.
Exactly.
And in fact, represented by the Governor General, so his wife is the First Lady. So don't get it twisted.
Technically,
it's not Juliet Holness. Juliet Holness is the wife of the Prime Minister, not the First Lady.
That's right.
Wow.
All right? And when we go to our courthouses and in certain formal situations, we say, God save the Queen.
Yes.
Before we even save ourselves.
Yes.
All right. No. There are countries that have departed from that whole structure. And countries like Trinidad, they have done so. I think Dominican Republic. The Commonwealth of Dominica. Yes, right. And now Barbados, considered as the little London of the Caribbean.
That's right.
If there's any English in the Caribbean, you'll say it's Barbados.
It used to be called Little England.
There you go.
Yes.
Yeah.
Under the stewardship of, I would like to say, the most progressive prime minister in the Caribbean, bar none right now.
Who happens to be a woman.
Yes. Mia Motley.
Yes.
She has forged through her parliament unanimously. And in fact, the first to remove the Queen as the head of state. So they will now install a president So they'll be considered a commonwealth,
A
right?
duly elected
Duly,
president.
well, actually appointed.
Yeah, she's appointed.
She's appointed, all right? But it's by both parts of their house, right?
Okay.
The Senate and the representatives.
Yeah.
And so come November 22nd, Barbados will move away from the vestiges of the colonial structure. Yeah,
and,
they'll still have,
and from the jurisdiction of the Privy
and from
Council.
and from the jurisdiction, because we do have the Caribbean Court of Justice,
Absolutely.
which by par and large is recognized as a significant structure in the whole justice system throughout the whole world. But it's just that
Is it really?
yes, but our people won't appreciate it.
Yeah, and please,
It's not foreign enough.
We asked the white man to give us we asked the other people to give us justice.
No, explain that to me, please, Mr.
You
Irwin Clare,
know, for
OD,
example, you're in the music business.
Yes.
Musicians time in and time out seek justice. The same people who seeking justice will not have respect for our own justice system. We'll go to the Queen.
Yes, and case in point, right now, with Vibes Cartel,
Yes.
who is in
Privy
prison in
Council,
Jamaica,
Privy
he's
Council.
going to present his case to the Privy Council in London
Yes.
Right.
to
Yes.
ask for some kind
Justice.
of a...
Justice.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, we tend to forget, right? It's just 30 years ago that, let's say 40, when we had a nationally concerned event, prime ministers then, with a parliament, would appoint an ombudsman. And Irwin was saying earlier that where are the experts? Where are the people? We don't have a czar who would oversee. We used to appoint an ombudsman. And that was the tradition. Now we have dispensed with that. So the whole trust has gone through. But you know, I say that to say, Jamaica has incredible potential, human potential.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Now, how are we arresting that potential by our actions is what we're talking about, right? We are stifling the opportunities for our athletes because this pandemic has just demolished the resources that we would normally have to put behind them, the little that we put behind them.
But yet we continue to punch way above our weight
Oh, yeah.
category.
Precisely.
Because when you look at the results
Way
from the
above.
Olympics,
And that's limited resources.
yes.
Jamaica in medal count was what? Number what?
I think it was
21.
Well, we prefer to go in the whole track and field. We're probably in the top 10. And I don't know for
exactly.
You know, and it's way above our weight category. You know, and I think what it says, right, is that you're right, our potential is being stifled. But it doesn't stop us from doing what we do.
Right.
You see, because you know, when you really think about it, the value of the Jamaican dollar today, when I check, was 153 to 1. All right? And inflation is, I hear people say, well, I have it on a check. I don't know. I really don't know what that means. But our people are a resilient people.
Extremely.
It looks as if whatever we throw, I shouldn't say whatever is thrown at us.
Yeah, is thrown.
We find ways to survive.
Yeah,
absolutely.
The challenge with that, however, is that we now enter into spheres of survival that are probably inconsistent with certain civil rules and regulations.
Absolutely.
So it ends up with some activities we observed recently because a despair person, economically and otherwise, socially, become vulnerable, so they're gullible. So a whole lot of things.
We're seeing.
So our leaders are really stifling us to go back to that.
If I can, Irwin, why hasn't Jamaica made that change? Why still be under the colonial handcuffs?
Because they get invited to the King's House at tea party, and you can be called sir, or you can get some titles on
Be knighted.
Yeah. And you remember,
the retention of the status quo.
Class system.
Class system.
Class system
most
exists.
definitely.
Yes. And
classism is alive and well.
Yes.
And it's very important.
Yes.
For Jamaicans to feel that sense of elevation.
Yes.
Right.
Separate us from them.
Yeah.
And yet, us from them, but yet we want to be part of them. That is the Queen.
So folks, you know, I know you're watching out there, and you've met Jamaicans, and you have all kinds of opinions. But let me tell you something: meeting the right Jamaicans that I have in this room, with the exception of Gail, who we will.
No, she's naturalized, man. She drink
we'll
coconut water.
naturalize.
She drink coconut water.
We'll naturalize.
Yeah.
You do understand that we are self-critical. We can really look at ourselves critically under the microscope and begin to chip away at some of the things that we need to chip away at. We have traditions very much like here in the United States, traditions that need to be done away with, and belief systems. The whole mindset needs to be changed. And so by this conversation, we are doing the chipping away. I want to get to the fact that Jamaicans usually respond to situations such as the pandemic, any critical, harsh, tough situation with music, with the culture. But I have not seen, and this is Dubmaster, talk to me. I have not seen a response in the music. I'm not feeling the vibe.
No, man.
Okay.
No, man. I wish you had this. I'd have to promote this one here.
Okay.
Cocoa Tea, and you know it. Come on, that song called Excelsior.
Yes, I heard it. One.
Yes.
Yeah, and there's some others.
And
But
there are a few others, yes.
But that one,
But the
we should make
response,
it.
the national response.
But we don't, you know.
All right, well, here's the thing, right? And as you said, it's not like it used to be. Because at one point in time, you would have gotten a flood of songs.
The next day.
Yes,
Like,
exactly.
literally.
Right?
Literally.
But I think Jamaica is suffering from a few issues. And I think one of the issues Jamaicans are suffering from right now is they are so Americanized to a certain point where they respond more like the Americans would respond. A lot of folks that I talk to in the music business, I've noticed that they've had more of a step back, hands-off approach. People are trying to be more politically correct. For example, Abuja Banton has been under fire because of comments that he's made socially on social media. But one time gone, he would have made a song. Notice he's making comments on social media, but he's not recording any songs talking about it. Why do you think that is?
Protecting his
He
income.
doesn't want to get canceled.
Income stream.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Income stream.
He'd get canceled.
He wants to speak on certain things, but he doesn't want it recorded in a song that it can come back to haunt him. And people can now hold this song up against him. And you know he had so many issues from certain songs. Boom, bye, bye. So I think a lot of our artists have become too politically correct. They're trying to stay out of certain conversations. We know in the last elections, for example, Irwin, they were utilized to help to get a message out
And then
and pushed to the side. And a lot of entertainers looking at that, they're like, wait, hold on. So they use us to help them to sell what they want to sell.
and then ostracize them.
Exactly.
No, that makes your job very difficult, right? How do you choose what you now play? Because as a DJ, prominent DJ, people listen to you. You influence people. So you wanna convey to people what the message is, what the feeling is,
Right.
out there. But at the same time, you're handcuffed by the material that's coming out.
Yeah.
How do you choose that material?
I try to choose the material that I present carefully, and I try to be as middle of the road, as unbiased as I can, giving the artist the opportunity to express and to speak. So obviously, if I play 6 songs that are bashing, let's say, the government, and I play 1 song that is applauding the government, I have a certain amount of control as to how, certain issues are being perceived. So I try to just balance it. So if I'm going to play 3 songs bashing the government, I'll try to play another 3 songs that are supporting the government, and that way I present it to the audience and let them decide.
And Debbie, if you get pushback, do you change? If you get pushback about what you're playing, do you change it now?
No, I'm sorry. I don't bend to pressure like that. Okay. No.
Hey, Chris, and I know you're not in, man, and I know you want to jump in with respect to the music.
I do see that we have become slaves to the dollar, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what it is. And as a people, we always took pride in our ability to fight against injustice, be vocal about things that are causing us harm, or be vocal about concerns, be vocal about anything in our society that we feel is wrong and needs to change. And we've really gotten to the point where now it's just about, I have to make some money.
Yeah.
Food I for eat,
and
exactly. And that's not the way to go. And here in America, I see that too with the artists, where I'm sure you remember this. Everyone here will remember this, where artists started making statements about, I'm not a role model. I'm an artist who I'm doing and what I do. This is my art.
Yeah.
I'm not here to be a role model. And
Right.
so that's kind of the stance that I'm seeing that's become far more popular now than it should be. You do have those folks who are making noise and saying guys like Kyrie Irving, who are saying, hey, I'm against this vaccine and this is but he's saying that for himself, right?
Mhm.
Nobody is you don't see people standing up making statements publicly about what we should or shouldn't do, and because it seems like everybody's afraid to put themselves on the line.
Right.
Everybody's afraid. There's this
Exactly.
fear, and but that has been. I feel like that's something that has been created, right? The government has done their job. That's what they did. All of this is to keep us in place, right? And we don't realize we're playing right into it. This is all happening to keep a group of people in place. Play your position. You stay in this place. If you play your position, we'll give you a chance to make money and to travel and to do everything else.
Right.
But if you come out and say anything against us, it's a problem.
Yeah.
Some people might say, "Oh no, that's conspiracy theory." But when you look at it, that's really what's going on.
Exactly.
Not just in Jamaica, but it's happening here.
Yeah.
And we all playing into it.
We're all playing into it.
Yeah.
The thing is, we can't go around and say, the government is not doing right by us and not doing, but we're not standing up to the government and making. The government is elected by the people.
Which by the way, stick a pin right there.
Yeah.
And as we speak right now, let's draw it back to reality here now. Come Tuesday's election. And we're not motivated by this election because it's not a general election.
Exactly.
Meanwhile, the people who will be elected come Tuesday are the ones who decide what goes on your plate.
All
elections are local.
All elections, and we're abdicating that responsibility to people who are outside of our realm.
As we talk about elections, it just popped up that James Johnson is viewing us as we speak. James, I want to really thank you very much for the nice compliment. Some heavyweights are in the room. I hope you meant that in a kind way.
Not referring to anyone's pandemic weight.
I have none of that.
I lost 18 pounds, so I'm no longer a heavyweight.
All right. Clive, one of the things I want to quickly jump in here, because Christopher mentioned something about the whole situation as to the whole dollar situation. There's a pet project I'll put my facts on the table right now. I'm a stakeholder. It has to do with the cockpit country, all right, which is Jamaica's Amazon.
Yes.
It provides 40 to 60% of the water in Jamaica. all
Natural
right?
rainforest.
Natural rainforest, and it protects the environment. All right, but it also have a whole lot of things undiscovered and some things in there that some companies want, like bauxite. Right. Now, a recent EIP report came out quickly, and it says that the government was given the opportunity to go out and mine. And this is what the government says. The people who represent us said that they have not found the economics from this thing. They haven't found a replacement for it. Think about that seriously now. There's only 25 years worth left of bauxite left in Jamaica. But it has done some serious damages to our health and to the environment.
Yeah.
But the point is now that they find themselves in a narrow lane where it's about money now. And their argument was that we have now found an alternative.
So in one generation, it's all dried up.
And the health concerns there. So yes, we find ourselves in today's world where the motivation is, and the same thing with the artists. They're very conservative. Why? Because their income stream too have lessened.
Yes.
So they're very conservative. So they approach certain things. And so right now, everybody is like towing the line because, hey, I don't have the ability to tour as I used to tour anymore. I have all these houses and cars I have to maintain and buy. And I really don't want to
exactly.
the boat. You know, so it's an unfortunate situation. But I think though, if we can, we should also look at the opportunities though that COVID-19 or this pandemic has provided us. You know, and I think that's where now, if we're to get out of this thing in a progressive and sustainable way, we have to look at the benefits. Believe it or not, benefits. You're only going to find a silver lining in dark clouds.
Right.
And we have to look for a silver lining if we're to survive.
And just to kind of needle in something right here. What you just said, Irwin, and you did make a comment earlier on when we started the program that Jamaica has underachieved, not lived up to our potential. And you're kind of repeating that point right now. And I have had so many conversations with so many people. And I think Jamaica has truly not hit the points of achievements that they should have. And for you to be saying in 2021 that the government is looking at the cockpit country and saying we need a financial fill-in so that we can ease off the pressure. You know what I mean?
It's frightening.
And it's that sounds crazy to make that statement. Why is it Jamaica government not looking into things like the herb, the natural?
But not only that, there are people who want the water out of there. And if we keep doing this mining, that water won't be good.
Absolutely.
That water
Exactly.
water is the most precious commodity going forth, you know. And we're doing everything to ruin ours.
We haven't touched on a couple of things. We haven't touched on crime. We haven't touched on cannabis. Two big C's here.
Like I said.
Let's deal with the crime situation. What's the government doing? and what are we doing here in the United States about Chicago, about
New York,
Albuquerque,
About New York.
New York, where we live.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
it's an unfortunate situation. We kill more people. More people have been murdered than are dying from COVID. All right, you know, the whole murder situation has been taken out of the whole publicity because of COVID.
Right.
All right, we're killing each other, and by the way, it's not somebody else coming and killing us. Are we killing each other?
Exactly.
And that's the frightening statistic. We're trending what 11 to 12% more murders this year than last year.
Okay.
Despite
all
a
right.
lockdown, despite curfews.
So to interrupt you again, in interest of time, how can we fix it?
Collective.
Yeah.
We don't want to hear statements from leaders who says when the diaspora steps up and say we have skill sets here and want to partner with you. We don't want to hear a leader say, well, what really going to come down here and do? Stay there and send the money, man. We don't want to hear those kind of things.
Precisely. Now that gets me to the point.
Yeah.
And Gail, this is you know, as a professor, this is something you really want to maybe ventilate a little bit with your students. It's amazing that Jamaicans out of Jamaica, I think, outnumber Jamaicans that are there. We have okay.
Greatest export, it's people.
Absolutely.
Yes.
We are maybe I stand corrected, the most traveled people in the world.
We're everywhere, man.
We're everywhere.
Coconuts.
And we have amassed resources. We have amassed resources. not just the physical resources. We're talking about
Intellectual
the
remit.
Yes.
To help Jamaica. Yet we're not even considered seriously
as
enough
partners.
As partners.
Yeah.
We're not invited to even vote, and we should have a voting bloc. We should be able to repatriate our vote. To Jamaica.
Me have burned the fire there for years.
Absolutely.
Irwin Clare.
Yes.
Mr. Irwin Clare,
And
OD,
this is why
sir.
the OD. That's why we have the OD here.
Exactly.
Why? It's a process we have to chip away at, because you see, at the end of the day, it's your relatives in Jamaica who determine this through a referendum.
Absolutely.
And they don't want it.
That's again a very sad statement
but
to
it's
make.
the truth. When we talk about diaspora relationship at home, we have to be very careful. We cannot be perceived as the John Wayne riding the horse to solve everything.
Hey, Chris, I know that this is not making you excited about your.
Well, we love it, Jamaica. By the way, we love it, man.
The land that you were born in.
No.
You know, see, I think that when you put things into perspective in terms of how recently we achieved our independence, just as when you put things into perspective in terms of here, how recently we achieved civil rights, you understand we're still in a state of infancy. We're still young. There's still a lot for us to learn. And hopefully, there are, by doing things like this, by this type of dialogue and having more conversations with other people, we will get there in time. I do see there are segments of the population that are awake and aware and trying. And I think we will see that maybe new breeds of politicians. I'm trying to remain hopeful is my point, because I have to put things into perspective. I have to think
always,
about the fact that,
always.
It's just 1962 was not that long ago. When you talk about how oppressed we were as a people, when you talk about, what we went through under British rule and still go through, because we're technically speaking, we're still not free. You know what I'm saying? So when you consider all those things, the Peter Tosh said it best, and I'm going to say this and apologize if I offend anyone, but the shit stem is very real. Okay. And that's what it is. That's what continues to, flow through our country. And we now have to recognize the power that we have as people, and make sure that when we vote consciously. Make sure that when these people come into office and dangle these carrots and say they're going to do this and they're going to do that, as they did in this election with Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, that you hold their feet to the fire. People forget, once they get in office, that's not it. You have to continue with your foot on their neck. Yes, it sounds oppressive and it sounds violent, but guess what? That is the way you get things done. You get things done by letting people know if you don't do it, you'll get slapped.
Okay.
It may not be a physical slap.
Can I say something?
Go ahead.
My Fortis brother.
Yeah.
My brother.
Yes.
My brother in the purple family of Kingston College. Okay, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes,
No, but on a serious note, the way this is going to change, in my opinion, based on, my humble opinion, you're going to have to step up and do it, bro. You have to get involved. I got to get involved. Irwin has to get involved, because guess what? We have a tradition of not getting involved. Like you just said, exactly. We, as you said, they get into office, they sell us all these hopes and dreams, and then we sit back and we get comfortable. And we wait. And even though we see that they're not making any effort to support our community, we still continue to sit back.
The black way, and I've observed it for many years. And when I chaired the community board, I realized what this was all about. People want to be friends with their elected officials.
Yes.
They want to be liked by their... Instead of
be in the in crowd.
As Chris be in the in crowd.
Yes.
As Chris said, putting, if necessary,
feet to fire.
Your foot on their necks if necessary to produce results. Guys, cannabis. It's a gold rush right now in cannabis. Why isn't Jamaica known throughout the world as one of the finest, greatest suppliers of good cannabis? Why aren't the licenses that are being issued, Irwin?
It's prohibitive. Prohibitive. So you find that it's conglomerates and corporations
Right.
that are involved. And now you find we have a situation where we have a former commissioner of police and a former commissioner of the ports, along with a Canadian investor, are some of the largest hemp growers in Jamaica. And I said, woo, the guy who used to lock you up and the guy who used to find hey.
Exactly.
You know, but the point here is that we have abdicated that again to big business, where we set those prices for licenses. The average guy, he's just like here.
And the red tape.
Look at it.
If you want a taxi license in New York, you have to mortgage your house.
There you go.
The same thing with this.
There you go. But listen to this though. The more smoke shops around the place are Jamaican smoke shops, right? Yes, sir. Smoke shops, marijuana legal here to a certain extent. Do we have any Jamaican smoke shop?
No.
All right.
I haven't seen any.
And we have to hold ourselves accountable.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It's our fault. It is our fault.
We have to hold ourselves accountable.
I have the pleasure, let me just interrupt. I have the pleasure of being on the Our World platform. And we want to thank our producer, Joey, thank you very much. We want to thank our founder, the fine Lady Pauline, for making Our World Media Network a platform, ourworldmedianetwork.com. Check us out at Instagram, Our World Media, and our YouTube channel that you might be watching right now, Our World Media 1. We are going to ask our professor. She wants to say something.
Oh, a few things
as we wrap up.
As we're wrapping,
you want
Chrissy, we saw you, Chrissy. Not Dubby, Chrissy. Hi, Chrissy. Never date a man.
Listen.
Never. Let me finish.
You can't do this on TV.
Never date a man whose TV is bigger than his bookshelf. I'm just going to say it out loud right there.
I thank you for that. I thank you for that, because I'm going to go to the bookstore right after this.
And also, I'd like to say, and I think we've wrapped, but I'd like to say it's 1 year since Archie Spigner, who was councilman for the 27th Councilmatic District right here in Queens for 20 years. Yeah. I mean, he was council member when I was a child, and he was larger than life, and he paved the road for people like, we just saw James Johnson's name up there, but for people of color, for women of color, for men of color, to run for office, to be successful in politics, to be revered in politics. He did things that were not always popular, and he did them with conviction, and he was loved by his community. And it's been 1 year since he's been gone, so I wanted to take a moment to say rest in peace. And we are forever touched by him. And of course, we're always thinking about his family, his widow Leslie, and his children, Philip out in California, and all of his grandchildren. And he's just got such an extensive legacy that he's left here in Southeast Queens, that I wanted to take a moment to really just point that out and say we haven't forgotten, and he's still in our hearts and prayers.
Thank you very much, Gail. Really second those sentiments, and we appreciate the work that Archie Spigner and his family, his extended family, has done here for us in Southeast Queens. Christopher Williams, I want to thank you for short notice, man. You got really short notice.
Chrissy is on Amazon right now ordering some books.
You better stop calling me Chrissy, okay?
So me and your mom, we're the only ones.
We're gonna come back. I got to bring you back, man, and thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah, I'll come in the studio next time. Just give me a little bit more notice, please.
Yeah, so we can get the shine out of your and by the way, as we talk about shine, you've brought back some luster to Kingston College.
No.
And let me finish, please. That's the thing. You've brought back a little luster, but you still have not learned the art of being civilized entirely. We at the bar can teach. And my friend here, Chris, I must touch you, and thank you very much for at least displaying the class that Calabar old boys are used to by appearing on this show. I know it's a hard pill to swallow.
Ouch. And by the way, the question was asked of me by Chris 1 and Chris 2, right? That the 2021 Rhodes Scholar, right, is Fitzroy Pablo Wickham. Google him. No, just Google him. Just Google him.
And he went to York Castle.
York Castle.
This
year,
him.
2021.
No, not this year.
What year was it?
2020, my bad.
Oh, 2020.
All right.
That was the first one, though.
But
No,
hold
I
on,
think
hold on.
I think we have others, and we can research it.
Just to be clear, we have
No,
four
that's-
Rhodes Scholars.
All right.
okay?
You're a big
We
school.
have, we
You're a big
have
school.
Leroy Murad in 1936.
Wait, 1936? Go ahead.
Googling.
Listen. We
Go
have
ahead.
Evan
Don't
Norris
don't
in
go down that road. Don't go down that road.
Because Calabar is gonna flood you now.
And Stephen Vassiani in 1981. okay?
Yeah, that's 4.
And you look up
That's just the
Calabar.
name of-
You look up Calabar, and
that was
you
40
will
years
you will
ago,
read
Chris.
until your
Yeah.
eyes hurt.
Yeah. And what about
Yes, there are a lot
let's
of them that were
Chris,
on the road. It's
Chris,
different from being a road
Chris,
scholar.
Folks,
Chris,
Scholar, exactly.
if you're
Chris.
watching, this is Conversations
Chris.
with Clive Williams, and this is how it gets sometimes,
Can we also
especially
say,
when
Dr.
I have
Williams,
my son on the show.
Dr. Williams, let's not forget Tuesday is election
Election
day.
day,
If
go
you
out and
live
vote.
in New York City, if you live in New York, please get out and vote. We don't even
Yeah.
care who you vote for. But 2 things: when you vote, turn the ballot over. There's
issues,
plenty
yeah.
back
Yeah,
there.
plenty
Yes, yes.
And if you're not sure, just go to NYC Votes. Go to any of the websites sponsored by the government, the local government, the state government, so that you can.
And if the conservatives are voting no, you vote yes.
Yes, and of course, as always, get out and get your copy of Where It's At magazine.
Where It's At,
Wherever complimentary magazines are provided.
And
Gail, I will say, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I just want to shout out my grandson. Stone is in the background, Chris. You might not have seen him. He's working.
Yeah,
he's actually
I
working.
know he's working. He texted me.
Okay, he's learning a trade.
Okay.
That's how I taught you, right? I taught you a trade.
That's very good.
Right.
Yeah.
Very good.
And can I
Congratulations.
also say on the cover of this month's Where It's At, Naomi Phillips, who happens to be right here in the studio with us. We'll talk to her soon.
We'll talk
she's
to her
sitting
real
here,
soon.
as she's assisting us with the show as well as a co-producer. So it's exciting to have her
Very
on the
exciting.
front cover and also in the room with us as well.
All right.
Thank you very much,
Congratulations.
folks. Until next week. No, yes, 2 weeks' time. 2 weeks' time. Let me apologize. 2 weeks' time before we see you again because our producer's got to get some rest. I'm Clive Williams. These are my friends. Thank you. Dubmaster
sir.
Chris.
Yes,
Irwin
sir.
Clare OD.
Yes, sir.
Gay Lewis.
Yes, sir.
Christopher Williams. Thank you very much for joining me in conversation this evening. Until we see you again, friends, 2 weeks' time. Look forward to seeing you. Bye-bye.
Peace.